Good afternoon, everybody. I'm sorry for coming this late. I actually planned to come earlier so I could be a part of what is going on here. As I came in, I totally enjoyed the engagement. And maybe I'm a poet, legal poet, who knows? So thank you for being here. Without you, this program won't be a success. So thank you very much, everyone. On Monday, I had a freak accident. Very funny. I helped someone carry down load on their head. So the guy passed the bulk of the weight to me. So by the time I went down, I had a sound there. Well, I was in the hospital yesterday, done my x-rays. So I'm fine. I can move. I am on pain relief. So I'm here. That's the most important thing. So let's clap for everyone, for even for Mr. Oruz for having faith. Right, so today I have been called here to talk about protecting your works, but I want to talk about protecting your ideas. It's still the same thing. It's an idea that snowballs into something that you can call your works. Creative people sometimes are taken advantage of. Give me a minute. Okay, iPhone. Let me see how I'll make my way there. Can you help me bring it? Thank you. This is uncommon. See how I'm looking. Okay, thank you guys. Jesus, how much is this? How much is this in the market now? Who has this phone? How much is it? Is what? No, let the owner. You understand? You will tell me the money. What? How much? Okay, like million. My G. How much is this? No, it's not about the phones. How much is this? Okay, who owns this one? Okay, ma'am. Yeah, I took it from you by force. You noticed that? It's how much? That is as of January. Now it could be trouble. Who has this beautiful one with something at the back? Okay. How much is it? Okay, so you can know that it will be up to 70 or 80 or 90. Who has this beautiful one? This one I won't carry go back. Who has this one? The iPhone? It's just. Huh? Oh, wow. These are physical properties. These are physical properties. You can see them. You can value them. At the top of your head, you can tell me that this is about this amount, right? See how I went about collecting them? Some of them I didn't ask. I pulled it from her hand. That's what happens with intellectual property. People take it, they use it. In Nigeria, most importantly, that's the issue. People use your ideas, use your works, some as they like. There's a case of Danny G and Tiwa Savage, 2019. The guy alleged that Tiwa Savage took some words of his song and used in hers. When he went on IG, he spoke against it. Normally now, you know how we do it on social media. And then YouTube pulled down the video, her own video, for like a few days. They put it back on. But they went to the Federal High Court. So, of course, you know, there's some things that you need to take that mile first before people come to the negotiating table. And when they went to the Federal High Court, they noticed that, look, you can either go this way. So they settled out of court. He was paid big money. But do you know why? Because he had intellectual property reserved in a form that somebody could take and he could say it is mine. So this is just to let you know that your intellectual property is more than the phone. Please, can you help me distribute to the owners? Thank you very much. Just a round of applause for all those who gave me their phones without questions. All those who didn't want that. This woman that cannot even walk well herself is even collecting food. Okay, my name is Irene Pepple. I'm more lively than this. It's just this small thing. But it has nothing on me. Okay, so we're going to talk about intellectual property, law, and how to legally protect your works, your idea. Ideas, like I said, are the foundation of anything you want to do, any idea, anything you will bring from your intellect. Intellectual property is property from your mind. You can create something from your mind. As I listened to the poet, I was like, so this guy wrote this thing from his mind. Do you know what it takes to sit and create something from your mind? We're not talking about bags that you can do in 100 pieces. Each one that you do as an intellectual person is a different thing. So, intellectual property comes from your mind. Please, can we go on? Thank you. It comes from your mind. So, I'll call it to the IP, intellectual property, to make it easier for us. It's a creation of your mind. It can be an invention. It can be an artistic work. It can be maybe your literary works, like what we have. It could be brands. Ideas are not protected by law. It is what the idea becomes that is protected. It has to be in a tangible form. We have to see it. A poem is an idea. An artistic work, we can see it, right? This LNG we are seeing, that logo is an intellectual property. The name is an intellectual property. The tagline is an intellectual property. Do we understand? Okay, so that's basic. So your ideas are not the real thing. It is the form you put it, what it snowballs into, that makes it eligible for protection. Next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, we have already established that, without ideas, you cannot, there'll be no inventions. And so this event was an idea. Somebody thought of it and said, it would be good for us to have this. This is our objective. This is our purpose. What do we intend to gain from having this program? So it will come from ideas. So there's no invention that didn't come from an idea. Even the trademarks, the things you trademark are from ideas. Next slide. Now, where I said an idea. So what can an idea become? An idea has potential. An idea has potential. An idea can lead to you developing a patent, something that can be patented, a new discovery. An idea could birth a unique brand name, logo, which is eligible for trademark. If you notice, each one has what you can protect. Okay? A new idea can birth an original work of authorship. The author was here. So that can be protected by copyright. And then you can have confidential business processes. Maybe you have processes how you do something that could be protected by trade secrets. Interestingly, Coca-Cola protects its taste, that's its drink, not by patent, but by trade secret. But we'll come to that. Right? So, what is intellectual property? We said before, it's the creation of the human mind. It can be in the form of inventions, literary, artistic works, symbols, designs, names, things that you can use in commerce. So we have copyright, we have trademark, we have trade secrets, we have industrial design, and we have patents. So basically, those are the ones we really use here in Nigeria. The intellectual property that is protected in Nigeria. So someone would say, okay, so why is it really important? Why should I protect my intellectual property? Why? I mean, some people even tell me that, okay, let me tell you a story. A friend of mine has one artwork she did, and she put it online. Before she knew it, some people are taking the artwork as theirs. Somebody is even saying, my sister did this. People are even lying blatantly. In fact, the last one she tagged me to this morning on Facebook was like, somebody said, see what AI can produce. I said, how? You know? So, you see, it's important to protect your work because you'll be shocked at who will take your work. You'll be shocked. It can be somebody high up there that you can't fight with. So, but you must have that first layer of protection for your work. So why is it important? When you protect your work, it gives you exclusive use and rights over that creation. You can do with it anything you want. I heard the author talk about his books. With your book, you can create a course. With your book, it can become a play. Your book can become so much. So you have exclusive right to, and any way you want to interpret that your creativity, you are the only person that has that. That doesn't mean you cannot give out that right. You can license the right. You can give someone freedom to use it for a certain number of years or certain, but it gives you the ability to create more assets from that very, property that you have. So we've established that intellectual property is really a property. It's something you have. Like people have houses. You too have it. Right? And having exclusive rights, you can prevent other people from using that your own product. And then the second thing why we need to protect your IP is for brand distinction. There's so much infringement on people's intellectual property rights, and most people don't do anything about it. One, they don't know how to go about it. Two, it may be quite expensive. Nobody's going to do pro bono for intellectual property because it is said that it's an expensive area of law. It is only for the high flyers. So, but the thing I usually say is, why don't you do the protection to the level that you can? Right? There are different things. Imagine that you have a picture or you paint, you watermark it. You put out publication to the public that this is your copyright. Anyone who wants to use it in any way. So you do something that lets people know ahead that this is yours. So it protects you against infringement. I can't imagine any other company going to use a logo that looks like this. So, this is not LNG, because that brand is known, right? So it helps with brand distinction. All right? So what happens? Sorry, the whole thing is changing form because I use Canva to produce it, but I don't have my laptop here. So I send it as PDF. So that's why it's looking this way. Please excuse it. Thank you. Agreed? You won't mention it anyway. Thank you. Okay, so what happens if you don't protect your ideas? We all know now, your ideas get what? Stolen. You have a house. You built your house, you put in all the furnishings, and then you leave the door open and stroll out every day. Or rather, thank you, you have no door, because if there's a door, it's even better, and then you expect people not to steal it. It gets stolen. Imagine somebody who says, this is my intellectual property, anybody who wants to deal with it in any way should contact me on this email or this. You're already putting out something to let people know that I appreciate what I have, I value what I have. If you need it, this is how you should relate with me. Are we together? Okay, so your ideas get stolen. Secondly, you risk being sued. Yes. Something you claim is yours, and somebody else is using it elsewhere. The person can sue you. You can't even prove that you began it first. It's not registered. For instance, that person has trademarked the logo or the brand name. And then you, since 1980, it was your mother's name, you took it and you're using it. Then one person who saw that, some people actually do that this name is going places, goes to do a trademark. First in time. So if you don't The person can sue you for using their trademark because you did nothing, you didn't protect it, you didn't put anything on it. So you can be sued. If Tiwa Savage can be sued, what can, do you get? So anyone can get sued. So you can get sued if you don't protect your own trademark or your own property. You miss out on opportunities. That one is on a daily. There's a friend of mine, a client, who came to me, she needs to, okay, this trademark, there's this thing the federal government is doing. They just realized that one of the things they need is a trademark. It was an international thing, so they need to know. It's not like you're dealing with Nigerians. They need to know your trademark. They need to understand that you value your brand that much. So, because your trademark is your asset, you can license people to use it, you can sell it. So she was like, please, can you do it today? Trademark is the process. Guess what? She missed out on the opportunity. What I advised her is, why don't you get together with someone who already has a trademark? Then you do business, right? But the bottom line is she missed out. So it's possible we've reached a level where it's not just, I have a company, I'm registered. People say, I have CAC. Please, there's nothing like you have CAC. You have a certificate of incorporation from the Corporate Affairs Commission, not I have CAC. CAC is not a document. People say that, I've registered my company, and that's all you have. If you've registered a company name, I can go and brand that name. First in time. Can I tell you guys the truth? I just have to be honest, because this is my line of work. There's a lady who was online. She had a brand name. She was using domain name, everything. IGSF, everything was in sync. So she came and said, she wants to brand this her name. It's okay. Normally, when you want to do a trademark, you need to apply to check if the name is available. The same thing you do in Corporate Affairs Commission. Now, the snag here is, in Corporate Affairs Commission, they will reserve the name for you for 60 days. Under trademark, when you go, if you see the name, if you don't do it at that time, if anybody else takes up that and starts registration and he's given that mark, you can't have it. So it's first in time, yes. They don't wait for anyone. Even when people say, I registered mine, why did somebody else have a name that is the same? They go before the administrative panel to check the timing, the dates which these registrations were done. So it's completely different from the Corporate Affairs Commission. So the question you have to ask yourself is my brand important enough for me to protect it? Where am I going? How do I see the future? What kind of brand do I want to build? Because it's beyond just having a name that everybody knows you. It's a name that you can be known and you can take your place, right? If somebody comes and say, I have a business name registration, and you say you have a trademark certificate, you have it more than them. So, and then you're knowingly build another person's brand. That's what happened to that lady. If the brand is Googled, it's probably her picture and all that. But the bottom line is somebody else has the brand. So why don't people say, no, I don't want to go all this way. But what we are going to in this country is no longer just, if you're a business person, if you have a gift, if you have a talent, if you have creative abilities, you should protect that ability and protect what you stand for. Now the question usually is, how do I know, which intellectual property, rights are suitable for my business? Okay, let's say I want to use one company. Who has a company here that we can talk about? Apart from just poetry? Who else? Okay, what's the name of the company? Buyer's Arc. Buyer's Arc. Okay, what do you do? School. It's a school. Okay, great. Now, the nature of your business determines which intellectual property you go out to protect. Number one, a school, the name is very important, isn't it? Do you agree? It's very significant that your name is, so the first thing you'll be thinking of is a trademark, because it protects your name, logo, symbols, anything that anybody can see and say, hey, this is this school. That's what you will protect first. It doesn't mean you won't have things to patent, that is innovations and ideas. But the first thing you should think of is the name, because that is what really, really stands out for you. Okay? And then some people prefer that, okay, after trademark, I really don't want to do anything else. So it can be your preference. But another thing I didn't add here is the law can decide for you which intellectual property you should use. Wait, let me come. If you go to NAFDAC and you want to register bottled water, right? Then we need your trademark. You need to have registered the trademark of that your company or that name that you want to use. So most people have trademarks because they're mandated, because of an institution they want to register with. So that's what I didn't add here. So your nature of business decides what you will protect. A singer between thinking of copyrights, because that's what protects their creative, So it depends on what you are doing. If you have discoveries you have done, or you have formulas, if you're a caterer, you have recipes, you'll be thinking of trade secrets, not patent, because patent means something that you have done that is new, and you can produce it in industrial quantities. That's how, before you get your patent. So patent is a different ballgame. So I think I'm slow. I need to be fast. I need to be faster. Okay, let's go ahead. So we're talking about patents. In Nigeria, patents, the law provides cover for you for 20 years. After 20 years, it's open for anyone to commercialize whatever invention you had. So for 20 years. So what it grants you at that time is you can manufacture, you can use that your patent, you can sell your, the patent, whatever you have, but you only have that right for 20 years. That's all. Okay, we said trademarks. Like we said, trademarks will protect your logos, your names, and other symbols that distinguish your business from others. So, like I said, if you have a unique brand, trademarks will be preferable for you. So, trademarks, once you are registered and have a certificate for 7 years, renewable every 14 years. So, every 14 years, you renew your trademark. Right? Copyright, that's the one I like. That's the one that applies to most of us here. Copyrights, from the death of the author, if it's a book, you have 70 years. This is one of the cleanest ones if you know how to manage it. Because with copyright, you can even give it out. Should I say, like if you're writing a will, you can will your works out. Because if it's 70 years after your death, that's 70 years of using that property for whatever purpose that is suitable. Right, so we have copyrights, so for 70 years. Okay, from our little lesson, so what intellectual property rights should be protected here? Now it's time for us to talk. Just tell me what you think can be protected in this. Please, can someone, I can't walk, sorry, can someone give me a mic? Or you can talk from where you are, just the name and the formula. Okay, the name and the formula. What will it be? What's the name? Under what? Trade secret for the formula. No, trade secret for the formula. Okay. Then for the name, it should be copyright. Oh, trademark. Ooh, please, a round of applause for her. It's very easy to have students who understand what you thought. Okay, so that's one. Okay. So, okay, you said two things. The what? The name and the formula. Trade secrets. So you don't want patents. So it will expire after 20 years. Coca-Cola, in their wisdom, refused to use patents because once it expires, anybody on the surface of the earth can use it. But trade secret means that the downside is if anybody finds it, they can use it. But I can tell you that to find Coca-Cola taste is not easy. If you taste Pepsi, it's exactly different. Big Cola, anyhow, is different. So they are guarding it very close to their hearts. So that's just two. Is that all? No, now somebody should tell me something. Okay, there's one I didn't mention. I guess that's why you guys didn't talk about it. Industrial design. Shape of the bottle by what? Industrial design. That's what I'm thinking. The shape of the bottle, you can protect it by industrial design. The label is protected by industrial design. In fact, it remains this blackboard to be protected by industrial design. The truth is, so if you look at this, there are multiple properties that you can protect for one product. These big companies do it because they know that if somebody cracks the code of the taste and the formula of Coke, is it not over? Those of you that when you see cold Coke with beads, you go into a fit. You must have it. Or when it's hot outside, you're like, Jesus, I need a Coke. That's why you still drink Coke, because they are guarding, they are protected, their secrets. Okay, so we have said the trademark is the name, and like the logo. The label is industrial design. The shape of the body is industrial design. The content is what? Trade secret. All right. Next slide. Okay, so I want to talk about trade secrets, but we already talked about it a bit. A trade secret is like the secret things you do in your business. It could be a formula. It could be recipes. It could be things that you do that makes your brand unique. There's a way you cook. That's why all of us were following Hilda Bassina. You're just wondering, people joined her course to see what does she put in her meals. Why would this girl? But you found out it was just branding. I'm sure you all found out that she cooks food normally like everybody else. It's just like, you don't have the names. And you don't have the brand. You don't have the visibility that she does have. So she made use of her visibility, was able to pull that kind of crowd and money. So a trade secret, for trade secrets, you can keep them secret for as long as you can. But know that if anybody finds out, they can commercialize it. You can't hold them down. So for people who are sure that they can keep it secret instead of patents that will expire after 20 years. So if you just want your 20 years, take your 20 years and then move on. Don't worry, I'm done. Okay. Sorry, the R is supposed to be up. I want us to look at this flying car and tell me which intellectual properties should be protected here. The name is supposed to be SIM car, not SIM, no. SIM car, the R fell off because of the change in fonts. Hey, I laugh in the way that will please God. Okay. All right, so, yes, the electric car. Who can tell me one intellectual property that we should protect here? Industrial design. Which what now? No. The design. Do you think it's industrial design? How many flying cars have you seen recently? Well, except in English. Patent. Patent because it's innovative. Which day is this one? This one AI give me. Yes, I generated by AI. So this is the patent. I wanted to look something that we can relate to, not looking like all those things in Star Wars. Okay, so this is looking like a small family car and it's flying. So you can see that I have something by the side there. The user manual for the car. You can protect that also. What will we protect it as? Too much. This pain is worth it. I'm so happy. So copyright. So what of the name? SIM car. SIM. Trademark. It has no useful logo. I couldn't find one. So you can see that you already seen exactly why this thing needs protection. Imagine that somebody else heard that this car was that they made it. If you have a patent, nobody can make this car. I hope you know that intellectual property is actually territorial. So that's why you have other companies come and trademark in Nigeria. So if you just go out and feel that, that's why if some trademarks are international known, If you go to write Coca-Cola, they will tell you no, just because it's already, a known brand. Okay, so let's move on. They're telling me I'm done. So what should I do if somebody infringes on my IP register registration? Okay, let's go straight. Next slide, so I can tell them. They said I'm done. We have what we call administrative enforcement. In the patent registry and the trademark registry, where these things are registered, they have an administrative panel that sits over all the works. So if you raise an objection that I already have this trademark, and this person is dealing with it in this way, and maybe the person has also claimed to have done a trademark on it, they will call you guys before the panel and check the dates, who first in time, and then of course they'll give their results. Or number two, what can you do? Go to court, right? Civil enforcement, you go to court, go to the Federal High Court, tell them that, look, this is my mark, this is my brand, and this person is dealing with it this way. He has earned this amount of money, so please, I want my money that he earned for me, because this is my brand. I want damages because he used my name. In fact, I am under pain, emotional trauma. It affected my children, my whole family. Somebody almost committed suicide because they saw it. So I'm just kidding. So it's just to get enough damages. So you can go by civil enforcement. But I want to add that before you do that, you need to send what we call a cease or desist letter to say, please, you're using my trademark, stop. And if you don't, hire me. Okay, then criminal enforcement. There is this, I think it's ICPC or one of these parastatals that's empowered to actually do this. You can go report, even if you report to customs. Do you know that if you bring a trademark certificate, write a letter to customs that somebody is importing something that you already have the trademark of, they can stop that importation. So they can enforce, there's so much enforcement that can be done, but most people don't know, so they just leave it. They don't have proper advice. Nobody tells you that, this is your property, this is your trademark, this is how you're supposed to protect it. Most people say, but I registered with the Ministry of Commerce, I'm registered. How come someone is still infringing? Next slide. Equity aids the vigilant and not the indolent. You can't fold your hands and wait for someone to, continue using. You are the one to find out. So that's why you see people say, I have somebody online. You have different people who are checking what is happening, what are the trends. Is somebody infringing? If you don't check, you won't know. How did Danny Young know? He listened to Tiwa's music. I said, wait, is that not a line of my song? Right? So you have to be on the lookout. I'm sure if anybody has a logo that looks like this, that you know that people can say that maybe it's LNG, they would come after you. They would, So you have to be on the alert. You need to look out. It is your property. The same way your house can be taken from you, the same way your intellectual property can be taken from you. So it doesn't have to be a phone like I took other people's phone or anything. So you have to be alert. You have to look out for, your brand. That is if you have protected it. If you have not, you have left your door wide open without a door. So finally, thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to ask, so most of what we do as poets, especially these days, is we make videos and we put them online, right? So first of all, how do we protect that? And we are going to learn today because we are all victims. There's no poet here that hasn't had their video stolen or plagiarized, right? And then when that happens, what do we do? How do we move on from there?
Thank you for your question. The Copyright Act 2022 actually now provides protection for digital works. So it's not like before where it was just, had to be digital works. The challenge like we have in Nigeria is implementation. when I saw paving the way, what came to my mind is, what can the Poet Society in Nigeria do, right? To protect, because, you know, on your own, it's tough to do something on your own, but if you have like a class action, or if you have people all together as a group, that this is what we want to stop, this is what. So I think the first thing, like pictures, whoever takes a picture has intellectual property. Hope you know, photographers, yes, except you were paid for that purpose and they've been told from this one here. But if you go somewhere and you take a picture, the intellectual property belongs to you, the photographer. So for poets, my advice is see a lawyer. Do you know why? Because it's still, I don't know, the law, this digital part was added just last year, so it's still this way. But I think a lot of advocacy could help. Because poets, it's like he was speaking, I was looking and people are recording. I mean, if you're recording, you put it online. But the funniest thing is that it is that person speaking that is, well, except in AI, anybody can speak any poem. We all know that, right? So these issues are still there. For instance, for some AI, we're still thinking about the policies, law policies to help. So honestly, right now, to be honest, let me be fair with you, that hasn't come up as a case in point. It's been more of trademarks, and then the copyright is like, so, but I will look into that. And where is the news? I promise to give you a good report, a detailed report on that to my findings. You follow up, no problem. So please, you guys, I will give her a detailed report. Is any new thing, maybe because we work with precedents, or we engage the precedents itself. But I feel that as a group, it's always better to advocate for something as a group. Peradventure, you want anything added to the law and amendment, it is in a group form. It can't be one person. So if poets are going through the same thing, what are the poets doing? Okay. Is there any question? Any other question?
Yes, there was a situation whereby they took Rihanna's picture. I don't know if you heard about it, and put it on some T-shirts. I think in China or something like that. And she took them to court. How do you define that sort of action?
In Nigeria, we don't trademark colors, smells, and there are three things we don't trademark. But in other countries, there are some other things they trademark. So, but Rihanna's picture. Wait, let me explain. For some trademarks, your logo, it could be your photo. How many of us remember when Omotala claimed that she had trademarked her name? I forgot to even, trademarks are in classes. Honestly, there is nobody that trademark for all the 45 classes. Because it's the same amount of money you pay to trademark under each class. So maybe she trademarked under a class that covers for her personality, media, You can't trademark under food and trademark under, well, you can if you have the money or the resources. So for that Rihanna, I said your intellectual property, you can use it anyhow you want. There are places, there are companies that have their logo or a picture. Maybe a picture is their logo. You can't use it. That's why I talked about licensing. Someone can give you a license to use their picture for T-shirts, right? This lecture is not in-depth, really, it's not. I must confess, because I cannot do that in 30 minutes. Talking about trademarks alone is a whole subject. So, but for trademarks, if that was a trademark, you will never know if that was a trademark. If it was, that's why she can go to court. You can't just wake up and say that someone used your picture on your T-shirt. Papa, Jesus that they'll be using on T-shirts. I got you. Okay, so anyway. Okay, so very simple. In the Irene Pepple, Facebook, across all media. In the INI, Irene Pepple. Thank you for having me.